Men built 10 indestructible human-like drones that can be used to fight. Before we continue, please like this video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos like this. In the beginning of the movie, a man named James, who has worked in the special force of the country, but he disobeyed the higher-ups of the government and left the special force. He formed a machinery group after he left the special force. Aaron, one of the higher-ups in the government, gave David a mission to capture a Russian businessman for him, and David accepted the mission. David and his men can be seen discussing on how they will capture the Russian businessman. After drafting a plan, they embarked on the mission. They got information that the man will attend a particular night party, so they went there to capture him. When they entered the house, the man's bodyguards started exchanging bullets with them. But how can ordinary bodyguards compare to a machinery group? David's men easily killed all the bodyguards. Under David's lead, they kicked down the door to the room that the Russian businessman is and entered. Everybody in the room were all high-class people, and they started panicking immediately David and his men entered. David and his men recognized the Russian man that they were asked to capture. They quickly captured him and left immediately. They drove to the place they are to meet with the man that gave them the mission. The man has a high rank in the government, and he came with a woman named Janet who David was in the same special force with. Janet has been brainwashed that David betrayed the country, and that was why he is no longer in the special force. And because of the Janet hated David, David handed over the Russian man to them. And Aaron complimented him ironically that he did a good job. They put the Russian man in their car trunk and drove away. On their way, Janet asked Aaron why he is still giving mission to David even after he betrayed the country. And Aaron answered that he only give him the dirty work. Some days later, Aaron came to David again and told him that he has a mission for him. David didn't want to accept any mission from him again, but Aaron taught him that he needs his help in exterminating a criminal group. David asked him why he didn't send the special force instead. And Aaron answered that the special force cannot do it alone, so he will need him and his men to help the special force in completing the mission. David accepted the mission after listening to him. The next day, David and his men have already prepared for the mission and are in the airport waiting for the special force. Not long, the special force led by Janet arrived. Janet was not happy that she is going on the mission with David because she sees David as a traitor. They boarded the plane, and the plane took off and headed to where they are going to complete the mission. David's men were not happy that they are going on the mission with the special force, and members of the special force were also not happy that they are going on the mission with David's men. Janet went to the pilot room to talk to David. When she got there, she told David that he should better cooperate in the mission, if not they will all die. But David answered her that he should be the one telling her that because he doesn't trust anyone from the government, and that they may have even told her to kill him during the mission. Janet told him to better cooperate in the mission and went back. When they reached the place that they were told that the criminals are, they readied themselves with their gun and walked closer to the house carefully. But as they got closer, David found it fishy that they didn't see or hear anything like a human being in the building. So he ordered one of his men to check out the building with a microscope. His man checked it but didn't find anything. So they continued moving closer to the house. When they are almost close to the house, a gun was fired from the top floor of the house to their direction. All of them immediately hid under the cover of something. They started shooting back, trying to kill the person that fired the gun. Deborah, one of Davis's machinery, who is very good with sniper, shoot a gun to the direction of the person shooting them. And the shooting stopped. Deborah told the rest that the person is definitely dead. Janet asked her how sure she is, and she replied that she never miss a shot. Janet believed her and ordered the people from the special force to start entering the building. But as soon as they start entering, the person in the building started shooting again and killed some of special force. Janet was angry and asked Deborah why the person is still alive if she really shot him. But Deborah herself was confused because she was very sure that she shot the person. David ordered that some of them should distract the person up there by exchanging bullets with him, while some of them takes the opportunity and enter the building. They did as he said and were all able to enter the building through that method. After entering the building, they divided themselves and went separate ways to search for the criminals. As one of David's men was searching, he saw someone coming, so he hid by the side. The person passed, and David's man was shocked to see that it was not a human being but a robot. He shot the robot, and the robot turned to him, not affected by the gun. It was then that David's man realized that gun has no effect on the robot. He started fighting with the robot, but the robot was too powerful. The robot overpowered him and killed him. David, Janet, and some other men were still searching for the criminals, not knowing that there is no criminal in the building but an almost indestructible robot. They looked up and saw a figure standing on the top floor of the building. They started exchanging bullets with the figure, not knowing that it is not human. After shooting for some time, they realized that bullets has no effect on the figure. They took a closer look and was shocked to see that it was a robot. One of them stood up and started to shoot the robot furiously. As he shot the robot took a step back and he continued shooting the robot. David pushed a drum full of diesel to the robot and shot the drum. The drum caught fire near the robot and exploded. David and the rest thought that the robot has already exploded with the drum, but shockingly for them, the robot was still alive. More of the robots started coming out and David ordered everyone to run. They all started running to different directions as the robot pursued them. David tripped and fell on the group while running from the robot. The robot came close to him and wanted to shoot him, but Janet shot the robot from behind, distracting the robot, and they ran away. After they have escaped from the drone, David was angry with Janet and asked her if she planned with the leaders of the special force to kill him and his men. Janet, who has also realized that this is a trap set by Aaron and other leaders, told David that she doesn't know anything about the trap. One of David's men and one of the men from the special force ran out the building. David's men told the man from the special force to yell so that they could attract the robot and kill it. He shot the man from the special force and ran into hiding. The man from the special force yelled loudly in pain. One of the robot heard the yell and started walking to him. When the robot got closer to him, the man told the robot that he was one of the special force. When the robot heard that, it left him and headed for David's man. David's man and Deborah, who has been watching from the top of the building, saw what happened and realized that this mission is a trap set by Aaron and other leaders to wipe out their machinery group. Another one of David's men came, plus the one on hiding, making them two. The both of them held the robot tightly, and Deborah, who is watching from the top floor of the building, shot the robot on the forehead. The robot collapsed and stopped working after being shot in the forehead. David and Janet were still running from the second robot. One of David's men came to help them and they were able to kill the robot after stabbing it on the forehead. They all gathered together and hid in one room. Inside the room, David asked Janet once more if she knew anything about the trap, but she swore that she knew nothing. That her men might know about it, but she knew nothing about it. The only remaining man among the men from the special force, who was the man that communicated with the robot earlier, was tortured and interrogated, and he confessed to that the robot is like a drone and is being controlled by real people, and that the plan is to use David and his men to practice how to perfectly control the drone. David and his men was angry on hearing that. Even Janet, who has been thinking that David betrayed the country, now realized that David is the one being betrayed. Out of anger, David ordered all his men to follow him and destroy all those drones. And they all followed him, including Janet. More of those robots are now walking around the building looking for David and his men. David and his men now knows the weakness of the robot, which is its forehead. And they were able to kill 2 more robots. But even though they now knows the weakness of the robot, it is still not easy to kill the robot. Soon they became overpowered by the robots. Some of them sustained serious injuries and went into hiding. David and Janet, who are being chased by one of the robots, ran to the top floor of the building and closed the door. The robot started hitting the door and the door weakened as it hit it. Janet was anxious and told David to do something. But David stood still, targeting his gun at a distance. The robot hit the door another time and the door fell. The robot then came closer to them, but just then, David released a shot and his bullet accurately shot at a satellite in a distance. The satellite shook and all the robots lost connection from the peoples that are controlling it. David and all his men were relieved when those robots lost connection, because it would have killed them if it did not lose connection. Aaron and other top leaders of the special force were angry when they lost connection with the robots. They knew that David and his men will come for them, so they tried to escape. But they met with David and his men on their way. A fight ensued between them and they were all killed by David and his men. The end. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you.